Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC accountancy revision class video third, right? Friends, in the previous classes we have studied about the treatment of some items, that is donations we have covered, entrance fees, legacies, sale of investments, sale of fixed assets, then subscriptions from members. Up to there we have covered. Now let us move on to the next part, that is life membership fees. Life membership fees. Life membership fees is the amount received from the members at a time in ad hoc for the lifetime. That means the person who becomes a member by paying life membership fees will remain as a member till the death of that member. Isn't it? He will remain as a member permanently. He is permanent member. In Kannada we call it as Ajiva Sadasyatva Shulka. Once you pay that amount, no need to renew your membership again and again, because you will be a permanent member of that organization, not for profit organization. That is called life membership fees, as it is paid only once in the lifetime, isn't it? That is, and most of the people, they are not opting for this life membership fees. It is not repetitive in nature. It is not recurring in nature, isn't it? It will not occur again and again. So it is treated as, we will have to treat it as capital receipt. Capital receipt, just because we are receiving the amount from the members in the form of life membership fees. And it is an income for the not-for-profit organization. We call it as receipt, and it is capital receipt just because it is not recurring in nature. Once a person pays the life membership fees, he will not pay life membership fees for the second time. He need not pay also. Correct. So it is a capital receipt, and it should be added to capital fund. Added to capital fund. Capital fund on the which side? Liability side of the balance sheet, because always capital fund appears on the liability side of the balance sheet. On the liability side of the balance sheet. That is how you have to treat it. Whether it is whether the amount is small or big, no problem. You are not concerned about the quantity of, that is a value of the amount. You are concerned about whether it is a life membership fees or not. If it is yes, add it to the capital fund and show it on the liability side of the balance sheet. It will not find a place in the income and expenditure account unless otherwise there is an instruction in the problem. Suppose if it is mentioned that half of the life membership fees are to be capitalized, then add only 50% to capital fund and the remaining show it on the income side of income and expenditure account. Remember friends, if there is an instruction, then only follow the instruction. Otherwise, straight away add it to the capital fund on the liability side of the balance sheet. Is it clear now? Yes. Now, next one is sale of old newspapers. Sale of old newspapers. Of course, old newspapers is a common thing in not for profit organization, because they purchase different magazines, journals and all these things. If it is a library, isn't it? Those old newspapers which are not useful for the organization later, that will be sold in the market as a scrap. Old newspapers, isn't it? So when you sell it, you will get amount. The not for profit organization will get the amount when it sells the sale of sells the old newspapers. Am I correct? So as it is the receipt of amount, it is an income to the not for profit organization, sale of old newspapers, and it is recurring in nature. It is not that today you have sold old newspapers, for the next 5 years you will not sell. No, it is not like that. After 2 months or 3 months, there may be a big bundle again. So again you will dispose that. You will sell it, isn't it, as a scrap. So you will get this income regularly, isn't it, repetitive in nature or recurring in nature, recurring in nature, and hence it should be entered on the income side or credit side of income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account. Very, very simple, friends. In no case old newspapers, sale of old newspapers will enter balance sheet. Always it should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Very, very simple. It is revenue in nature, it is recurring in nature, and always it should be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Clear? Yes. Sale of old sports materials. Next item is sale of old sports materials. Old sports materials are common in case of sports clubs. Am I correct? They will conduct match again now and then, isn't it? Nowadays it is reduced, like because of COVID. Even that your IPL, isn't it? Now most of the students are very busy. There are no audience. Only the players will play and you have to watch live on channels, isn't it? You are not allowed to go there by purchasing a ticket. You cannot sit in the ground, isn't it? So here, whatever the thing is, let us come to the point here. Old sports materials. For a sports club, it is common that old, that is a bat, net, or that is anything else, other items of sports, isn't it? When they are not useful for them, they will sell. They will sell it out. Because when they conduct tournament, they should have some standard that's as per the rules of the sports, isn't it? They have to keep such quality items. Used balls which are not, which cannot be used further, that will be sold. Net, isn't it? That is quality net should be there. If it is international match, they will not compromise with the quality. Quality is required there. Otherwise, they will be ready to cancel the match, but they will not allow to play. They are not allowed to play. So for that reason here, old sports materials, when it is sold, it is recurring in nature. Maybe frequently they conduct matches. Every time they will have some, that is a scrap items of that is sports materials. So it should be treated as revenue, and when you sell it, you will get amount, income, isn't it? So it is a revenue receipt which is called income. So should be entered on the income side of or credit side of income and expenditure account. So whenever they sell these things, there will be income for them. So we call it as receipt, and it is an income. It is an income to the sports club. So it should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account, or income side of income and expenditure account, or right hand side of income and expenditure account. That is what you have to do here. Remember friends, there is difference between sports materials and sports equipments. Remember. Sports equipments are the fixed assets. They are not like stationary items or any other things or sports materials. Sports materials means old bat, old net, old ball, isn't it? All these comes under the sports materials. They cannot be used further. But take the case of billiards table, isn't it? Those fixed things or any equipments which are used for sports purposes, which can be used continuously for maybe a period of 5 or 10 years or 20 years, then such things are called sports equipments and not sports materials, and they are of long term in nature. They are coming under fixed assets. And any sale from that should be deducted from the balance sheet, from the sports equipments, and depreciation should be properly charged on that as per the instruction given in the problem. If there is no instruction, no question of charging depreciation on those items, but it should not be credited to income and expenditure account. That is my point. Sports materials, you will credit that amount to income and expenditure account. You will enter on the credit side of income and expenditure account, but in case of sports equipment, you have to straight away deduct it from the concerned asset in the balance sheet, and any loss or profit on sale of such sports equipments should be calculated by taking into consideration the book value of the asset if it is given in the problem. Otherwise, forget it, isn't it? And if there is a profit, the profit part only should be credited to income and expenditure account, and loss part should be debited to income and expenditure account. Remember, it's like we have dealt with the sale of fixed assets, sale of investments. In the same way, we have to deal this sale of sports equipments, not materials. Materials is very simple, credit side of income and expenditure account, right? So that is what we have to do here. Then let us move on to the next one, that is interest on fixed deposits. Interest on fixed deposits. Any income that is derived from the fixed assets, it can be credited to income and expenditure account as an income. Interest received on fixed deposits should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account, and fixed deposits should be shown in the balance sheet. Fixed deposits means it is a non-current investments, right? Non-current investments, so it should be entered on the asset side of the balance sheet. And any interest received, because on fixed deposits sometimes they will give the bankers as per our wish. What they will do is they will give maybe once in 6 months, once in a year, or once in 3 months. It will be credited to the not for profit organizations, that is account, isn't it? Yes, that is to the account of that not for profit organization. So it should be it is a regular income for the concern. Once in every 3 months they will get the interest, means that is a regular, that is a recurring in nature. So should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account. And investment should be fixed deposits, that is should be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. Now let's move on to next part. Interest dividend on investments, same thing it is. Any interest or dividend received on shares that is invested should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account, because it is a regular phenomena, isn't it? We will receive now and then the interest or there is a dividends on shares. Interim dividend may be declared. Some companies they may pay twice in a year, thrice in a year dividends. So it is a regular in nature, recurring in nature, should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account as an income. Clear? And those investments like shares should be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet, because it is an investment, right? Sorry. Then proceeds from charity shows. Proceeds from charity shows. From charity shows. What do you mean by proceeds from charity shows? Maybe any that is a video might have been shown to the public, isn't it? And for which there may be some gate collection, isn't it? So here is that any gate collection or any amount that is collected or any income derived therefrom by collecting from the public who come over there to watch the show, isn't it? That is a regular income, and it is recurring in nature. Now and then they will conduct those charity shows, and that is a regular income for the concern, should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account. Clear? Credit side of income and expenditure account, that is a right hand side of income and expenditure account, and should be treated as regular income. Then sale of scrap. Sale of scrap. When we sell scrap items, it is regular in nature, recurring in nature. Now and then some scrap items may be iron or anything for that matter, isn't it? Waste plastic, isn't it? Used plastics or any used newspapers. All these things we may sell as a scrap. So it is a regular phenomena. So we have to treat it as regular income and should be treated as revenue item and should be entered on the income side of income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account. It is on the right hand side of income and expenditure account we have to enter. That is another item. Then grant in aid. Grant in aid. Any aid declared or any aid received, that will be received now and then, isn't it? Government may provide, that is grants, isn't it? And now and then the government will give that is money which is there is a regular income or recurring in nature. So it should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account. Because it is a regular phenomena, government will give concessions, subsidies or aid now and then. So amount will be paid maybe once in 3 months, 6 months, once in a year, like that. So it is routine in nature, should be treated as income and should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Then interest dividend on specific fund investments. Specific fund investments. Remember, specific fund should be entered on the liability side of the balance sheet. It is created for the fund is created for a specific purpose. But any income derived therefrom should be treated as regular income and should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Remember this. Any income derived therefrom should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account, but the fund should be shown separately in the balance sheet on the liabilities side. Miscellaneous receipts. This is the last item of that is receipt side. Miscellaneous receipts. Miscellaneous receipts means the amount received, maybe miscellaneous for miscellaneous items like commission, brokerage, or any other things, that is income for the not-for-profit organization. And these are this general income, isn't it? Sometimes will be received by not-for-profit organization. As it is received, it is an income and it is a revenue in nature because it is regular in nature, recurring in nature, occurs again and again, isn't it? So it should be entered on the credit side of income and expenditure account, income and expenditure account, or right hand side of income and expenditure account. We have to enter this item. So these are the various items that is that appears on the debit side of receipts and payments account, which you have bifurcated into capital and revenue here. On the basis of that, we have to show the items in the income and expenditure account and balance sheet. So that is what we have to do here. Like life membership fees, capital, this is a recurring, this is again recurring, isn't it? This is recurring again, like that. But to bifurcate, and we have to transfer the items to either income and expenditure account or balance sheet. So with this our receipt side of receipts and payments account comes to an end. Now we'll move on to next. We will move on to the payment side. What are the items that appear normally in the receipts and payments account on the payment side? First one is purchase of fixed assets. Payment side. Purchase of fixed assets. What do you think about fixed assets? Where it appears normally? Long term investment, it is on fixed assets, right? So it is long term in nature. Fixed assets always used for more than 1 year or maybe 5 years, 10 years. Can you give me some examples of fixed assets? Maybe purchase of ceiling fan, or purchase of furniture, or library books which can be used for a longer period of time, maps or charts used by education institutions which will be purchased once and can be used for a longer period of time. Am I correct? So those are fixed assets. So purchase of fixed assets. Purchase of fixed assets always is a capital item. And when we purchase fixed assets, we will have to make payment for that. We will spend the amount, is an expenditure, and it is non-repetitive in nature, non-recurring in nature. So this will find a place on which side of balance sheet? You will enter on the asset side of the balance sheet. Am I correct? On the asset side of the balance sheet, you will enter these fixed assets. It will not find a place in the where? Income and expenditure account. And remember, any depreciation on these purchased fixed assets should be entered on the expenditure side of income and expenditure account, and the expenditure, that is a depreciation that is charged, should be from the date of purchase till the end of the accounting year. Suppose the asset was purchased on 1st October of any year, the depreciation should be calculated from the date of purchase, that is from 1st October to end of the year, that is 31st December. Not 31st December, year ends on 31st March of the next year. Refer the problem, whatever they give instruction when the year ends, that is till the end of the year. If it is December 31st, otherwise next year March 31st. So here in this case, if we assume the year ends on 31st March, then you have to calculate depreciation for 6 months on that asset. So here in this case, you have to calculate depreciation on purchase of fixed assets, purchased items or additions to the existing asset, isn't it, for only 6 months. And this depreciation part should be shown in the income and expenditure account, as it is a non-cash expense. You are not purchasing, you are not spending anything in the form of cash, but still the value of your asset comes down. The value of your asset decreases, isn't it, because of depreciation. So the depreciation amount should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account and should be treated as an expenditure, and the same amount, the depreciation amount, also should be deducted from the concerned asset in the balance sheet. That is what you have to do here. Clear? That is about purchase of fixed assets. We'll take up the other part in the next class. As I already told you in my previous video, I will dispatch, that is upload the questions for assignment on the day of dispatch of the video. Clear? Yes, thank you for watching this video.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.